Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, and all of you who are watching online, welcome to the Taipei Cycle International Press Conference hosted by Bureau of Foreign Trade, MOEA, and TAITRA. I think the pandemic and also climate change are actually driving the growth of the cycling industry. And with the loosening of travel bans and also restrictions, we also see that more and more international buyers will be coming to Taiwan and visit us at the Taipei Cycle next year. Taipei Cycle next year will be held at Taipei Nangang Exhibition Center, Hall 1 and Hall 2 from March 22nd to March 25th next year. And here at the show, you get to meet people and representatives from the high-end cycling industry. And together, we are going to embark on the path towards net zero and sustainability. To begin, we have a video for you. Let's have a look.
一起为我们台湾。
Let's hear it firstly for Taipei Cycle 2023 and Taiwan's cycling industry. Of course, we can feel a lot of energy from the industry. And to begin today's press conference, we'd like to welcome the host for Taipei Cycle, Mr. James Huang, Chairman of TAITRA, firstly to say a few words. Let's welcome Mr. Huang.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us today. In our race to solve global warming and reduce our carbon footprint, cycling has always offered the great solutions. Cycling, in all its forms, will play even greater roles for the future of sports and recreation, as well as transportation. Smart technology-driven bicycles are the keys to healthy and sustainable living. Taiwan's bicycle industry is paving the way forward for this future. In 2021, Taiwan supplied the world with over $5 billion of bicycles, e-bikes, and bicycle parts. The rate of growth of Taiwan's e-bike has already surpassed traditional bicycles. It is foreseeable that by 2025, Taiwan's e-bike exports will overtake traditional bicycles. Taipei Cycle 2023 will showcase the strength of the global cycling industries. Visitors will connect with leading supply chain partners and discover exciting new opportunities. Taipei Cycle 2023 will highlight 5 key areas of the industry's future: resilient supply chain, digital connections, vibrant innovations, dynamic lifestyle, and sustainable moves. We will cover the complete bicycle industry ecosystem, from manufacturing, supply chain management, branding, to smart wearable solutions, training software and equipment, and bike tour services. Alongside our physical show, we will host the Taipei Cycle Digital Go. The virtual show, our OMO exhibition platform, will enable companies to reach the full range of business opportunities in the digital age. Bicycles are our ride to a low-carbon future. In its 200-year history, the bicycle has continued to be an area of innovation, full of possibilities. Taipei Cycle will continue to foster the growing cycling sector and enable global innovators to realize their possibilities. Today, I'm pleased to introduce some of those innovators who are also our panelists. Mr. Robert Wu, President of KMC, and Mr. Ken Li, spokesperson of GIAN Group. They will be sharing many of their insights, including those on the trends of net zero, digitalization, smart devices, changes in the cycling industry, and the green policies of their organizations. My gratitude to everyone here today and watching online. Thank you for joining us for this press conference. And I will see you again in March 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Huang, for your inspiration speech. Please take your seat. 自行车在未来永续的应用当中，真的是充满无限的国际自行车展。
Just like Mr. Huang just said, we can really see a lot of possibilities in the cycling industry. And together, we're going to usher in a brighter future for the cycling industry. And of course, out of which we really appreciate the great efforts and support from the Bureau of Foreign Trade. Next, we'd like to welcome the Deputy Director General of Bureau of Foreign Trade, Guanzhi Li, to also share a few words with us on the stage. Let's welcome him.
黄董事长、张秘书长、吴董事长、李发言。
Ladies and gentlemen, representatives from the industry, friends from the media, and all of you who join us online. Warm greetings. Once again, on behalf of Bureau of Foreign Trade, Ministry of Economic Affairs, I'm so happy to be here with all of you today for the press conference of Taipei Cycle 2023. Yes, we can see that the pandemic has brought a lot of impact to the world, and we also see a rising awareness of climate change and climate crisis. So those are the catalysts for the demand, for growing demand for green transportation. We can also see a lot of countries right now are going out of their ways to build low-carbon cities, including civil society organizations. A lot of countries and a lot of groups are doing their best to nurture cycling culture in their countries. Yeah, so definitely we can say that Taiwan's bicycles are known in the world for their high quality and also high value. We have two representatives here with us today from KMC and also from GIAN. They are having great influences in the cycling clusters and industry, from complete bicycles to bike frames, brake discs, bike chains, to electric assist systems. You name it, whatever you're looking for, you can see them here in Taiwan. So that explains why the exports of Taiwan's bicycle industry's complete bicycles hit a record high to $5.147 billion, an increase of 39%. And also, Taiwan's e-bikes are also growing with double digits for 4 years in a row. And that would definitely contribute to what Taiwan wants to do for green transportation. And Taipei Cycle definitely is a great platform for Taiwan's companies to show what we can do. Bicycles are not just very important products from Taiwan. It could also be a conduit for us to connect with the world. Like in July this year, in the largest bike show in the world, Eurobike, Taiwan's companies have showcased some of their best, including the light tires and also the bike GPS systems that have attracted a lot of attention of foreign buyers. So to continue to encourage companies from Taiwan to innovate and develop their products, our governments are also providing a lot of incentives and also projects to show our great support to them. And also every single year during Taipei Cycle, we're also going out of our ways to use the best, the smartest, and also the most advanced technologies to better showcase our solutions and also our products. Next year, the show will feature resilient supply chains, digital connections, and also a lot of vibrant innovations. We hope that buyers who come visit us next year, they can have a perfect experience here in Taiwan. And also just like you saw in the video, that you see great accessories and also bike parts from Taiwan. They are very important parts for all of us to enjoy cycling. So I would like to wish next year's show every success, and I wish you everything well. Thank you very much.
Just like the Deputy Director General said, that the bicycle industry is closely connected to the global trend. So it is that we have to really understand the world trend. Now let's welcome the Secretary General, Gina Chang from TBA. James Huang from TAITRA, Mr. Li, and all distinguished guests, our chairman from KMC, and our Secretary General from TAITRA, friends from the media, good afternoon. So after the pandemic, we know that the disease altered the way we live and we work. It also impacts our view and how we see life. If we come back to the manufacturing industry, we can all realize that the platform is greatly altered to meet the challenge of the supply chain, because we are now trying to grow within a very speedy trend than to actually be stabilized and safe. And we have been meeting a lot of challenges. We have to understand that the riding industry has become green-driven and human-centered, and the Taiwan Bicycle Association will continue to innovate in their research and design. We will definitely try to service our clients worldwide, and hopefully we'll be able to become the hub in the global supply chain, increase exposure, and become a very trusted partner worldwide. The riding industry, bicycle industry in Taiwan has always tried to be determined to serve all our clients with great service and products, which is why in the past 2 years we have been integrating the virtual and the physical platforms. And this year we will be actually welcoming new trend and new development. So on behalf of TBA, we actually wish that all the businesses and suppliers a great success this Taipei cycle. Thank you. Please stay on stage. We're going to ask all our guests to come onto the stage and take group photos. Thank you. So please take down your face masks. Let's first ask James Huang from TAITRA and Mr. Guan Li from Bureau of Foreign Trade and our chairperson from KMC and the spokesman from GIANT. Please take off your masks. Just a reminder, because we're going to take group photos, we have 2 special poses. First of all, please hold up your hand as if you're looking through a binocular. This is actually a symbolization of the wheels of bicycles, okay? So give us a big smile and hold up your hands to give us like 2 round bicycle wheels to symbolize the Taipei cycle. Okay, big smiles, please. This is going to be a great opening for Taipei cycle. If you have any special request, please tell us. So, as you can see, our guests are holding up their hands to show the key visual of Taipei cycle. And the second gesture is please form a heart with your hand to symbolize the passion and the vitality of Taipei cycle. 2023 Taipei cycle is all about sustainability to welcome international buyers and the Taiwan cycling industry. Please take a look at the cameras in front of you, and once you've finished taking photos, please return to your seats. Okay, thank you. Thank all our guests. And please return to your seats. Thank you. Next, we are about to enter into our leaders panel. To 2003, we are welcoming international buyers again, as we all know that we are going to transform into the 2050 net zero period. So I would like to ask our panelists to come onto the stage. First, let's welcome James Huang, Chairman of TAITRA, and then Mr. Robert Wu, Chairman of KMC. Next, Mr. Ken Li, spokesman of GIAN GROUP. Please be seated. Now, our chairman will be the MC for this panel. Please. Thank you. It's an honor to be here today to speak to the representatives from 2 brands, leading brands in Taiwan. One is from Robert Wu, the chairman of KMC. The other is the largest bike manufacturer worldwide, Mr. Ken from GIANT. So Robert and Ken are here to share their insights on the cycling industry in Taiwan and the world trend. So first of all, I would like to ask Robert and Chang about the challenges under the pandemic. it made us realize the importance of health. So from the market end, we can see that from Europe and the United States, bicycles are selling and becoming extremely popular and has great growth in the revenue and sales. So from the strategic point of view, the government is encouraging people to actually ride bikes. There are 6 countries like Belgium, like the Netherlands, that have signed a European Bicycle Declaration to encourage bicycle riding. And they also declared 2024 the European Year of Cycling. And many European countries, including the United Kingdom, France, or Italy, they have also proposed an expansion of the cycling lanes, and they have subsidies for cycling or bicycle purchasing. So I would like to ask you about what are the trends or the phenomena that you've observed in these markets. Thank you, James. On behalf of Giant, it's an honor to be here to take part in the press conference. I would like to answer the question James just asked. So I think during this pandemic, just like what Bonnie said, I think the pandemic is like a great present to the industry, because during the 2 years of the pandemic, the cycling industry has prospered and boomed, including e-bike or regular bikes are all selling like hotcakes, and we have seen an increase in sales in many markets. And because a lot of the clients, they have noticed or realized the importance of health. So in the long run, I do believe that because bicycles is very environmentally friendly and it is a sustainable tool or mode of transportation. So I do believe that in the long run, the market will still continue to grow. Next is that after the pandemic, a lot of commuters, they will actually shift back to the normal way. But for the high end or the sport level or performance level wise or competition or e-bike, I still believe we'll see continued growth. Why is that? Just like what James said, because during the pandemic, a lot of the governments, they have actually adjusted the infrastructure and encouraged this growing of bicycle industry. And they have these highways for bikes, and there are subsidies for bicycle purchasing. So I do believe that a lot of the customers has becoming favorable or preferable to the use of bicycles. And during these 2 years, they have actually had the habit of riding bicycles. So aside from commuting from home to work, they start to exercise or they start to compete in the realm of bicycles. So I do believe that the cycling industry will continue to grow due to the importance or the focus on sustainability. Thank you, Ken. I would like to ask Robert on your view, because you are the leader in chain manufacturing. Without your chains, the bicycles will not move properly. So what is your view on market trend? Thank you, James. I would like to thank TAITRA for hosting this very meaningful conference, because after the pandemic, I think Taiwan, this is the very first exhibition that is open to all the international buyers in Taiwan after 2 years. And we have been entering into a lot of foreign exhibitions, and it's an honor to be here to share my thoughts with all of you. I would like to welcome all the friends from medias. Good afternoon. So I have some statistics or information I'd like to share with you. So from a more basic perspective, I want to talk about what happened before the pandemic and after the pandemic. So before the pandemic hit, I do believe bicycles has already become one of the simplest transportation mode. So it's an easy solution. So what are the things that we're trying to manage? It's like energy shortage and traffic jams, climate change, air pollution, to obesity, to pressure. All these issues are what we should address. And one of the simple solutions is riding bicycles, especially after the pandemic hits. Whether it is to keep social distancing or maintain a habit of exercising or to keep up with personal hygiene, I all do believe that bicycle is the answer to a lot of questions. Just like what spokesperson Kent and James said, that a lot of government have actually realized the importance of cycling, and they have actually adjusted a lot of policies and issued a lot of regulations for the expansion of the cycling industry. Aside from that, what you see may just be a simple bicycle, but for us, the cycling industry is not just about bicycles. It has more aspects. It has 8 different business models. We have whole bike sales, we have components, we have renting, and we have long distance travel, we have exercising, we have share bikes. All these other aspects are all included in the cycling industry. It is a different culture, a different ecosystem. It symbolizes safe, pleasurable, low carbon emission lifestyle. So this is a great atmosphere, and we have confidence that in the future the cycling industry will continue to grow.
非常
Thank you so much, Robert. Yeah, I do agree with you. A bike is not just a bike, but it represents an entire cycling culture and a lot of things that human beings do nowadays. And it seems like the market is changing every single minute. We have the pandemic, we have the Russia-Ukraine war, and the inflation, and it seems like there are a lot of black swans in the market right now. So my question to you, Ken, post-pandemic, a lot of our cycling players are also facing some challenges, such as lack of raw materials, longer delivery time, and rising costs of human power and also logistics. And but at the same time, you still have to try to broaden your supply chains, and you have to localize and also try to decentralize your supply chains at the same time. So how do you respond to that, Ken? Yes, a lot of complete bicycle and also bike parts companies, they are extending their delivery time for as long, probably 1.5 years or 2 years. For Giant, we think that the pandemic and also disruptions of the supply chain are not going to last forever. Post-pandemic, we believe that it will be back to normal very soon. And for Giants, we have our own strategy. We call it short chain supply. Our president, Bonnie, has focused on this strategy a few years back from now so that we can respond to the needs of the market very quickly. Whatever the markets are, we'll go there. So that's why we have factories in China and also high-end factories in Taiwan. We have logistics centers in the Netherlands and also in Hungary. And we have a new one in Vietnam. So we have a total of 9 factories in the world. So responding to the question, James, that you just asked, in response to geopolitical risks and also the pandemic, our response, our strategy is the short chain supply that I just mentioned, so that we can act very quickly, so that we can respond to what the market or what the consumers need in a very short time. So this is what Giant has been doing these 2 years. Yes, I think it really is a key to listen to what the market wants, right? And what do you think, Robert? Thank you so much for your question, James. Yeah, according to what Ken just said, this short chain strategy, I actually have some different opinions because KMC is doing a lot of bike chains. Of course, the longer the better. We don't want a shorter. Okay, maybe we can change the name like speedy response. Okay. So echoing what James and also Ken just said, a lot of things happened and that have led to the restructuring of our supply chain and has brought to where we are right now. For a lot of suppliers that actually don't have a one-size-fits-all strategy. They do have to have different strategies, and they have to take into account the distribution of their own resources. Maybe not many companies can do it like giants to build their factories just next to where the markets are, right? So next, I just want to share some experiences from KMC. To some extent, KMC, yeah, I think we have prepared ourselves for some of the challenges that we encounter right now. So that's one of the keys to why we can solve a lot of these problems. Yeah, we are actually have a globalized viewpoint. The first S is what I just said, speed. The second one is stable. And the third one is synchronized. The fourth one is surface. And the fifth one is sustainability. The last one is synergy. Those are very important 6 words for KMC. And that's also what we have learned over the years dealing with buyers from the international community. So we believe we have faith in all these 6 words going into China, going into other markets in the world that have allowed us to respond to the needs of the markets in a fast manner. And of course, you cannot just take it all in from what KMC is doing. You also have to think about where you stand and then adjust your strategy. Okay, Robert, those are very, very important 6 S, and that's just rule out short, okay? Anyway, okay, let's move on. Net zero definitely has become a global trend. Yeah, after COP26 last year, 126 countries have committed to achieving net zero goal by 2050. And EU definitely is one of the front runners in this area. They have proposed CBAM, and it will be official by 2026. So if you want to go to the European market, in the future, you also have to pay the carbon tax. We also see a lot of international big companies are doing their low carbon and net zero work, such as Apple has promised to make all of its supply chain carbon neutrality by 2030. And Nike has also promised to make its global operation 100% using renewable energy. Okay, so what do you think about this one? Maybe I'll go to Robert first. Okay, thank you so much, James, for letting me answer this question first. Yeah, sustainability is very important. And just according to some Buddhist doctrines, a lot of the problems actually are happening in the world due to the greed and also desire of human beings. So these are the challenges shared by all people in the world, and we really have to do something about it. We can escape from all these problems, right? Yeah, and so Giant, definitely, I also look forward to what Ken is going to share with us later. Maybe he will share more about the Bicycling Alliance for Sustainability, BAS, later. So what I can say is that we are actually trying to address these issues for ourselves and also for our next generation. Let's say if we have our next life, if we come back, we have the fortune to be back to the earth. What do we want to see? So to solve the problem, firstly is for ourselves and definitely for our sons, for our daughters, for our next generation. We also see some NGOs, according to their reports, by 2050, we really have to make net zero a reality. We still have 28 years to go from 2050. So we really have to cut the carbon emissions by at least 2.7% every single year so that we can achieve our goal by 2050, right? So this is a very critical period of time for all human beings. You know, these are irreversible changes and also harm to the world. So we really have to do our best to cut carbon emissions by 2.7%. If we don't do it, then it would just be deteriorating. If we do not do anything these 10 years, the amount of carbon emissions that you have to eliminate every single year will only be more, right? Okay, so what we want to do is to make this a part of our life, a part of the world. And this is a shared mission for every member of the cycling industry. And I just want to say that we actually face up to this challenge. That's what we really want to do. And before I finish talking, I just want to share one thing from KMC, that bicycle is a great green product, but we also have to take into consideration whether the manufacturing process is also green. So 10 years ago, KMC started to think about this problem, and we have obtained a green manufacturing certificate from the UN 10 years ago. And we want to make green products, bicycles, with green manufacturing processes. I think that's what KMC has been trying to do over the years. And maybe Ken, you can share more about our Bicycling Alliance for Sustainability, BAS. Yeah, thank you, Robert, for sharing so much with us already. Why is that the cycling industry has to do a lot of sustainability work?
I'm going to talk about BAS later, but first I want to talk about, as a part of the cycling industry, as a leading brand, what is Giant going to do? How can we actually adjust our infrastructure, and what are we going to do? So we must have consensus within. We have researches on the carbon emission, so we have some goals. And we are doing it right now from some small steps, like within the offices, our colleagues or our sales or subsidiaries. So within the offices, we have paperless approaches, and we have digitalization. We encourage our staff to bike to work, to commute with bicycles. And for example, in Taichung, our headquarters is a big high building, and then we encourage them to use the stairs when they're going to the second or third floor, and we don't have bottled water. All of our colleagues or staff, they have thermal cups or travel mugs. These are very small, but we want to start with things that are small to achieve something bigger. And this is what we do within our offices. As for our suppliers and our factories, we want to actually lower carbon emission and save up on energy. As for lowering carbon emission, what we did is that we cut down on the plastic packaging, and we try to recycle all these materials that we can, as much as we can. As for lowering the cost of energy, we have all this actually researches or surveys on these carbon emission, and we have green energy that's going to be put in use. Our factories, we have a lot of smart water grid or smart electric grid. So we actually adjusted our manufacturing process to ensure that we have a very efficient manufacturing procedure that uses as little energy as possible. As for the products, we also have some solution as well. We have 3R: reduce, reduce, and recycle. So reduce the use of plastic material, and we have reuse color graphic, because our color graphic is a very important link that costs a lot that is very energy heavy. So we also reduce color graphics, and we have a lot of recycled materials like recycled carbon fiber or other alloys. So this is what we do when it comes to materials. And we hope that all our partners will also take part in this 3R strategy. And just like what Robert said, Just like U-Bike is a sharing system, it is a circular economy business model. We have a lot of bicycles. So starting from Giant Taiwan, we started proposing this second-hand bike certification system to make sure that all these second-hand bikes will be put in good use or recycled for other uses. And we have like second-hand batteries. The recycling and reuse of these batteries will also actually encourage sustainability. As for the supply chain, we have to talk about BAS. It's the Bicycling Alliance for Sustainability. Now, this alliance will be established this October. So KMC is also a member of the BAS, Bicycle Alliance for Sustainability. Giant is learning from KMC. So why did we try to establish this alliance? Because we realized that within the cycling industry, 80% of the energy is actually used by the manufacturing chain. So if we are only doing ESG in our part and not including the upstream and downstream suppliers, it would not achieve our goal in the near future. So we want everybody to be included in this process. And we have more than 30 companies, including Merida, has also become a member of BAS. A lot of partners within the industry all took part in the alliance so that we can work together to actually achieve our ESG. And we do hope that many more partners will be able to join BAS later. Thank you, Ken. We do hope that BAS will be able to start working as soon as possible. Because of the Industrial Revolution, the supply chain has already had an existing business model that's running smoothly. But as for the industry, this is the best industry that can actually make some changes and really, really give back to Mother Earth. So this is a great industry that we should all help to actually set to the right track. And as for transformation and new business models, I do believe this is what companies all over the world wants to know. As for big data, cloud computing, IoT, all these new technology has speed up the transformation of the reorganization of businesses or the operational procedures or customer experience. And all this will also drive the growth of the cycling industry. So they will enter new modes or new business models, just like what you have just shared with us. And these digital transformation, what does it have to do with your business management or product design or manufacturing or sales distribution? Do you see any kind of potential business opportunities or models? Thank you, James. First of all, I would like to go back to the previous question. I would really have to say something about Giant. I'm friends with all these leaders in Giant, and we have entered exhibitions in other countries, and the president and the directors, they have like water bottles for coffee or tea with them because they don't want to use paper cups or they don't want to use these kind of disposable materials just for a cup of water or tea. They have everything they need with them. They carry it with them wherever they go. And I think that is a great thing, and that's embedded in the Giant DNA. And I think it will have a great impact, not just for Giant, but also for the entire industry. And just like what James said, because we have the same philosophy, so we want to really do something to make this world better. As for a smart production or AI usage in the industry, every day I look at my crystal ball and I ask my crystal ball, what would the bicycle look like in 10 years? Please tell me. And then one day, an image actually materialized from my crystal ball. And this is the picture. This is the green area. This is the e-bike. So in the back, it's a cloud. The cloud is logistics, IoT, and cloud computing. Now, this picture, to be frank, I have been thinking about this day and night. This is my vision for the bike of the future. So before I talk about the business model, I have to say the product must look like this. Therefore, it will actually initiate changes within the industry. And we have two main aspects. One is a E system, one is an I system. E is electric. We have batteries. And I is for AI, to make the bicycle smart, to connect to other ends. As for electricity, is for us to ride further, higher, and for a longer period of time. So if you want to, bike through Taiwan, you'll feel like exhausted. But with the production of e-bike, so if we want to travel through Taiwan environmentally friendly, it is possible. As for riding for a longer period of time, it's not just for riding for a long period of time every day. It's also like we've been using it until we were like 70 years old or 80 years old. So when we look at the automobile industry or the electric device industry, we can see that due to the help of electricity, bicycles allow us to ride for a longer period of time to places further away with less effort. And due to the introduction of AI and IoT, we see that from automobiles or electric devices, they have made our lives different. And we have from cables to wireless, we have, single device to connected device networks. And we have components linking to components, components linking to the automobile, automobiles linking to platforms to other automobiles. With electricity, we have E. With I system, we have a new definition. With new definition, we'll have new demand. With new demand, we have new business models. So hopefully that answers James' question. For me, this is my image of the future. So this is I believe, the roadmap for the future. This is what we have to prepare us for in the new future. Thank you.
Ken,
Thank you so much, Robert. Ken, what is your take? Robert just said he has a crystal ball on his table, but our managing director, Lee, he also has a crystal ball. So that from the crystal ball, that we also see two circles for general public, for people. We can get a lot of information from the online platform. Offline, that's where that you get to see things in reality, that you get to feel the warmth of people and also products. And we would like to create a human bike interface interactive system we want to, on one hand, fulfill the imagination about consumers about bikes. And for the bike side, we want to make the services very enjoyable for consumers, whoever visit us at our brick and mortar shops. So through sensors, through trainers, that we can connect the dots. We can connect the consumers and the bikes, maybe through IoT, maybe through connected bikes, so that we can make this kind of omni-channel, online to offline, offline to online, possible. And that really is a vision from Giant. And that's what Giant really wants to do in this trend of digital transformation. That is to connect consumers, connect people with bikes. So thank you, Robert. Thank you, Ken, for sharing so much with us today. That was very insightful. I think what you just shared are very relevant and also very important to all of you who are watching the press conference today. I think Taiwan has a very good cycling industry on this island. We have bike trails in the mountains, near the sea. We also have bike sharing systems and also our U-bike trails in the cities. With all of those, we have a very unique and very beautiful cycling landscape here in Taiwan. And of course, what I want you to take away from today's press conference is that you definitely have to come visit us next year for Taipei Cycle 2023, March 22nd to 25th. It is the very first time ever since the pandemic that Taipei Cycle once again is open for all buyers in the world. So come and have a look at the latest products and solutions. Yes, it is more than just bicycles. It's also about sustainability. It is also about the future and development of the society and also the industry. I think Taiwan's cycling industry is ready for the golden future. Next, we'd like to open for questions here on the spot, and also 3 questions to be raised online. Please identify yourselves before you ask questions. Any questions from the crowd here? This is from Fei Fan. And we want to know more about the physical show, Taipei Cycle, next year. Yes, we do see the travel restrictions loosening right now. What do you see the scale and also number of visitors of Taipei Cycle next year? James, thank you for raising this very important question. Taipei Cycle 2023. For now, we already have 2,700 booths, which is about 80% of the level before the pandemic. And before the pandemic, we had about 8,000 international buyers. And a lot of them are also clients of KMC and also Giant. I think after 2 years, and I think the international buyers really couldn't wait to come visit our physical exhibition next year. Definitely, we want to go back to 100%. We want to make the most out of Taipei Cycle 2023. And we also see the Taiwan government is loosening the travel restrictions step by step. Like not long ago, the Central Command Center has announced that travelers from the US and also EU could come to Taiwan visa-free. So next year, I believe we will loosen the regulations even more and see more buyers to come to visit Taiwan. This is from Cycling Journal. From Taiwan, we had seen a lot of changes happening in the cycling industry. It is a rather confusing period right now, and a lot of actual players from the cycling industry are rather pessimistic about the future. But also some also are more positive about what's going to happen in the future. And what do you think, Robert? Yeah, I think a lot of people, when we meet, will discuss what the future holds for the cycling industry post-pandemic. Yeah, we see the disruptions to the supply and demand, and this kind of imbalance happening in the world. So we see some congestion happening in the supply side. We are lacking materials, people, and also many other essential parts. And for the demand side, they probably will be overbooking the products. And it takes some time to manage these overbooking orders. And just like Ken just said, that during the pandemic, a lot of people bought their first bicycles, maybe during the pandemic, as a tool for commutes or for transport while meeting the need of social distancing. And also we see a lot of opportunities for high-end bicycles. They could be using, a lot of people may be using high-end bicycles for sporting or recreational purposes. So I see different levels and different sectors of the industry. So for those lower-end bicycles, probably these problems, you still need some time. And on the other hand, if it's for the high-end bicycles or for electric bikes or for sporting and recreational bicycles, I think we don't have to worry about them because they are doing so well. So we'll probably have to look at this problem from different perspectives. So not all countries or not all companies are sharing the same problems. Some are in shortage of materials, but some are doing very well. I don't have a lot of time. Just hope to give you an idea of how things are evolving right now. Thank you. And one more question from the audience here, from Fei Fan, and to Ken. Yeah, we mentioned about what you've done about ESG. Do you have any more specific short-term or long-term plans that you can share with us? I think every company is different. I just shared specifically what Giant has done over the years, and KMC has started to do it starting from 10 years ago. And for Giant, it wasn't until 3 years ago that we started to implement our ESG strategies. Okay, to answer your question, for our short-term goal, I think it's very important to make sure that everyone in Giant, everyone in the company, is on the same page, because to respond to the carbon footprint verification and some needs from EU or the US markets, it takes a lot of adjustment, it takes a lot of management. So it would take some time. And for BAS, Bicycling Alliance for Sustainability, we will continue to work very closely with other partners in the industry for our long-term goal. Definitely, it is net zero by 2050. So those are the short-term, mid-term, and also long-term goals for ESG for Giant. And we still have some more questions from the audience, but I do have a few more questions raised online. Let me read the questions. The first question is to James. For the past 2 years, once again and again, Taipei Cycle is ensuring its place and its very important role in the world.
First of all, because of chips shortage, now everybody knows that Taiwan is the most important country in the world in terms of semiconductor manufacturing. But not only that, Taiwan is also the global powerhouse of ICT industries in terms of PC, notebook, smartphones, even next generation communication equipment. But on top of that, Taiwan is also the kingdom of bicycle in the world. And last year, our export in terms of bicycle e-bike parts and assemblies, the whole industry's export amounted to $5.2 billion US. So bicycle industry is a very, very important industry in Taiwan, and it accounts for a very important share of our global export. And the industry is actually supported by more than 20,000 employees. And we have a bicycle corridor in central Taiwan, almost 70 kilometers long, whereas most of the important suppliers are located in the bicycle corridor. And down in the south, in Tainan area, there's another cluster where KMC is located. So we support each other. And even the whole island actually is a bicycle cluster, because you can easily reach one another by 1 hour or 2 hours drive, or connected by high-speed train. And so this is a very important industry for Taiwan. And from today's forum and the insights shared by our two panelists, we can tell that the future trend of global bicycle industry would be to combine bicycle with the latest ICT technology, IoT technologies, and a new mechanical development. And in those areas are exactly the strengths of Taiwan. So Taiwan is in a very good position to further develop our bicycle industries and to support the global bicycle community.
谢谢黄董事长。好，我们现在还有第二个来自线上媒体的发问哦，我们要分别请教规模以及巨大。目前还有哪些自行车的项或是零件还面临供应上的难题？那么以及我们也关心未来几年究竟台湾自行车整体的供应稳定性展望如何呢？Which bicycle category or product group or product part are faced with the biggest delivery problem at this moment. In addition, what are the expectations for the coming years with regard to delivery reliability? So the chairman, okay, the spokesman of GIAN.
我就直接用中文。
是。
Okay, as for the supply chain, we have talked about this in our discussion previously. I think for Giant, I think after the pandemic, I think when we do not have to face lockdowns or after the restriction loosens, I think the logistic or the manufacturing side or the labor shortage or material shortage, I think these will all be resolved after the pandemic ended. So in the long run, I do believe Taiwan has still a very high value supply chain and it's very stable. And through your effort, I do believe that in either the short run or the long run, I am still very optimistic as to the development of the industry in Taiwan. Robert? Thank you. Earlier, I have answered the question. It's about the same content. For the past 2 to 3 years, due to the pandemic, the demand has fluctuated. And it has to definitely get back to the balance between a demand and provision. So we have produced a lot of products. We throw into the market needs some time to actually sell all these different kind of products. So different regions will require different kind of demands. So if we talk about commuters or like cheaper or more moderately priced models, they are maybe back ordered, but with time, we will definitely be able to provide enough products. As for the components, we are still very busy. As for what James said about my vision of the cycling industry, I do believe I agree with Ken. Bicycle as one of the simple solution many of the challenges that we face around the world. It has also a lot of derivatives and very potential business opportunities and models. So I am also very optimistic as to the prospect of the industry. Thank you. Thank you for your insights and thank you for your questions. 2023 Taipei cycle will be definitely bring us a lot of surprises. So the conference is coming to a close. Please give our guest a big round of applause and thank you all of you for participating in the press conference. Can you please stand up and wave at the cameras in the back and say goodbye to our friends. We will meet you again 2023 March at Taipei Cycle. Thank you.